All right, this is SSL Family Dad with Simple Sustainable Living, and today we're planning out a future greenhouse. So I'm out here by the barn, by the pastures, by the hay fields, kind of out a little ways away from the house, standing right in front of the future site of our greenhouse. We've got some financial resources together, and I've come up with kind of a rough plan of what I want to do. And a lot of times I don't take you guys along for this part of the process. So I thought today I'd just kind of take you through some of my thoughts on the greenhouse, where we're going to put it. It's ridiculously cold out here. It's I think it was like 6 degrees, and wind chill is well below that. Tomorrow it's going to be even colder, so not a great time to be thinking about greenhouses, but maybe it is actually warmth. So I've kind of got an area laid out here. I'm going to talk to you guys about layout, direction of the greenhouse, why I chose or why I plan to choose this particular orientation as far as the sun and all that is concerned. I'm also going to talk to you guys a little bit about the construction method that I'm going to try to use here. I can't say that I've seen a lot of other people do this. I've seen some other similar types of designs, but this is going to be a little different than what I've seen other people do. Hopefully this will be an inexpensive way to get something put together that may last us about 5 years before we would have to do some repairs or replacement on plastic pieces and things like that. So let me take you guys through kind of the orientation here, where I have it laid out, and we'll talk a little bit about the materials I'm going to use and construction here. All right, so just to show you guys kind of where we're at, this is the square that I've marked out. It's approximately 20 feet wide by about 50 feet long, with plans to extend it another 50 feet down that way, down the road when we need that space. It's placed kind of close to our barn and not too far from the house. The kitchen garden is straight up there. There's the garage and this little garden shed. The rabbit trees and things are there, and then the household kitchen gardens up front there. Beehives back there as well. And behind us here is our hay fields. So this is all open hay field here. So I'm planning to run this a little different. I know there's a lot of different opinions on greenhouse orientation, and I'll take you through my thoughts on this. But this is dead south right here. We're in the northern hemisphere, so we have very low sun exposure in the south in the winter time. In fact, you can kind of see, I won't point you right at the sun, but the sun's right over here, and it stays pretty low here. I've got some deciduous trees here that will block some of the sun in the summertime, but in the wintertime kind of allow for full sun all the time. Also, the sun in the summertime is going to be way up here, straight up high, shining straight down on this thing. So just a little different here in Michigan. If you're down south, you may orient this differently, but I also am going to open up. I'm not going to open the sides of the greenhouse for ventilation like a lot of people do. I'm going to open ventilation on the end, so windows and big open air openings on the end there, and then the door or entranceway will be here with windows and ventilation on this side. And the idea behind that is that we get a lot of wind off this field, and it'll be able to blow directly through the greenhouse this way to cool it, and also allow for less wind exposure, less surface area of wind exposure on the end of the greenhouse where I'll have wood and I can insulate that better. This also allows for the widest area of plastic to get the most sun during the day, especially in the winter time, fall and spring. So that's my plan, and the reasons why we've kind of chosen to do this. It also just happens to be a great place for it as far as our yard. It's an unused space, and it allows me to expand it up this way if I need to. So that's the plan. Now let's take a look at what we're using to put this sucker together. All right, so you saw me unloading there. This is 1-inch electrical conduit, and this is Schedule 40, so it's thickness is pretty good as far as structural integrity in that. This is also sunlight resistant. So the reason I chose the electrical conduit instead of regular PVC was for two reasons. Number one, these have a coupler built in, so the next piece of pipe slides right in here. I can glue it in, and I don't need to buy an extra fitting for that. It's less gluing, less expense, and less problems for failure. This piece isn't going to break here. It's molded right in as part of the pipe. So, and also because this has UV resistance built in, so this should last a little bit longer in the with sunlight. So these 1-inch pieces of conduit here are going to make up the ribs of the greenhouse. There's going to be 3 of these put together, so a 30-foot rib, and I'm going to kind of play around with the arch today. Then the other thing that I'm going to use is these. This is metal 3/4-inch conduit, and this actually fits right inside this pretty smoothly. And I'm going to pound these into the ground about 2 feet, leave about 1 foot sticking out, and this will be what the just kind of stakes for this to mount into. So each of the ribs will go slide right over the top of one of these pieces of pipe, and that also allows me to run my stringers down, wood stringers down the edges, and pipe clamp to everything and keep everything kind of secure to the ground. All right, so the plan is we'll mark this corner. I've got these couplers that I'm going to put on here so that as I'm pounding this thing into the ground, I will be smashing this fitting and not the piece of pipe. But we'll try to get this put in here. Not sure I'll be able to get through this frozen ground. Let's see if we can get a little mock-up made here. Oh yeah, nice actually. All right, so that puts the top center here about 9 feet with this arch. So that's with a 20 foot base. That's not too bad. It's a little flimsy. I'm a little worried about the conduit. It might not be tough enough. So we'll have to see. I think once we get all the ribs together, there'll be 11 of these arches all the way down, 5 feet apart, and they'll be connected by 3/4-inch conduit that will run down the center. So I'll have one piece that will attach to the center right here and run all the way down, connect all the hoops together, and then 2 on each sides that will run down the length and connect all them together. I'm going to drill a hole and use a carriage bolt to connect everything up. So I think that we've got enough strength here. I'm a little worried about it being too flimsy, but hopefully this will work for us. So if I have to go up to 1.25 inches or 1.5 inches conduit, I could do that, but that adds about $100 to the cost. So we'll have to see how this works out. This will be the first kind of prototype when everything goes together. If this works well, when we do the next one, we'll do it the same way. It's about $283 worth of supplies that I spent from Home Depot today, and that was getting all the conduit and carriage bolts and all that other stuff. I still have greenhouse plastic to buy. I did buy all the treated wood and all that stuff too in there, so it hasn't cost me too much yet. The purpose of this, as I've talked about before in other videos, we need to get this put together because we need to start making some income off this farm. We don't have a lot of money to invest, so we have to cut corners, but we have to be very targeted with what corners we cut. I want to make sure that we can get something up here that will work and make us some money in the next couple years. It doesn't have to be the nicest hurricane-proof greenhouse in the world. So let me dig in and show you how I can use my smartphone to determine the placement of the sun any time of year. All right, so it's getting a little bit dark, but you'll still get the idea here. This app is called Sun Locator Pro. I actually paid $4 or $5 for this app. But that orange line you see there, orange yellowy line in the center, that is the path of the sun right now here on the 4th of January. And you can kind of see exactly where the path goes. So right behind those trees, we'll get a little shade in the wintertime from the branches, but those are all deciduous trees, so the leaves are not going to be there. Now I can use the slider here and change the time of day. So this is right around noon or so. That's where the sun is, and so we're going to get a little bit of blockage from some of the trees, but that's okay. Now the nice thing is that I can actually change to see different dates as well. So we can go, let's see where, as we slide over here, you can see up in the upper left hand corner the date is changing. As we get closer to summer, the sun gets higher and higher in the sky. So when we start growing in here, it's going to be in April or so. We're just above most all of those trees, so we're pretty much not going to get any shade coming in here at all. And then obviously in the middle of the summertime, you're gonna get up into June. That'll be the highest point of the year. That sun is right up above, straight up above us here. So this app is so useful especially for planting gardens or anything like that. I can go out and plant things in the middle of the winter, and I'll know exactly where the sun's going to be, exactly what's going to shade it, no matter what time of year it is. So the app is available for Android, is what I'm using here, and I'm assuming it's available on Apple as well. But what a cool little app. You know, it's not too bad. It's pretty big. I think that's going to be pretty big. It's I wonder if it would get stronger if I shortened the base a few feet. That might be something I could mess around with. Make the arch a little higher. Might have a little bit more strength in the middle there. So maybe we'll play with that. Maybe instead of 20 feet wide, we'll go just bring it in a few feet. Maybe go 16 feet wide or something like that. So be higher, be taller in the middle, but maybe we'll have a little more strength to it. So I'm excited. It's the middle of the winter here. It's January, and not the best time to build a greenhouse, but we've got to get this thing put together. I want to get this thing put together for two reasons. I'm going to be starting seedlings in here sometime in March, but I also want to have my maple syrup operation in this. So this will be the cover that I'm going to use to store my maple syrup supplies and get the evaporator in here and everything. So I'm hoping I'll be able to warm the greenhouse as well as evaporate my sap in this cover. So it's going to serve two purposes. So I got to get this done here in Michigan. You know, a good year we could start doing sap in February. So I only have about a month and a half at the most. So what do you guys think of the plan? You think this is going to work? Is this going to fail? We'll see. Well, there's only one way to find out when you're doing these things. You gotta try it, right? So shorter video today. Thanks for checking it out. It's getting late. It's getting dark. You know, we won't be able to see me here soon. So thanks for watching, guys. And please throw your comments down below. I'd love to hear from you guys. What do you think? What do you think of the orientation? East, west, or north, south? That's the big question with greenhouses, it seems. But love to hear your thoughts. Thumbs up on the video, guys, if you like being taken along for the planning and things here. And this is what I normally do behind the scenes before I actually build something. So thanks for hanging out today. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. Have a good one.